Hello there, hey, welcome back to another video. Today, it's going to be a bit more of an experiment or something new that we're trying, which is like a podcast type chatty thing. I'm here with Cham, the
Hello.
walking throwback machine. Yeah, is that what it was?
Walking close enough. We'll
Close
go
enough.
for it.
Something like that. The full-time throwback machine, of course.
Full time.
But this is going to be kind of a news wow show. We're going to talk about everything that's kind of happened over the week and things like that. And yeah, kind of get into it. It's going to be about, hopefully, 45 to an hour long, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, if you like it, leave a like. Let me know down below. If you hate it, leave a like. Let me know down below. Yeah, that's perfect. All right, so it's been a bit of a week for World of Warcraft. We've had pre-patch last week. We had some updates to the beta, some other outside World of Warcraft things as well, including Legacies and some various other things on Twitter, which are exciting, which we'll get into. But we're going to start with the pre-patch. Now, the pre-patch launched they announced it's going to be in 2 phases. This week was phase 1, or last week was phase 1. A bit dry, Cham, do you think? But what's your thoughts on the pre-patch?
A little bit dry. Yeah, it was a bit dry, wasn't it? There's not really been a lot to do, to be honest. It's just more, here's some talents, and then we'll go and fix everything kind of after the fact. There's not really been too much to do, apart from the solo scuffle, as you found out, your lovely little hours spent that you couldn't get back.
Yeah, so that was a bit of a disaster, really, because they put the solo shuffle out, and that's kind of like the rated solo shuffle. May I say was kind of the main feature of the pre-patch or this phase, and I did it for like 5 hours, and I got to 1600, and I was like, yes, we're gonna get the mount, we're gonna get the new gear, and both of those things were broken, and the amount of conquest as well. I was getting 15 conquests per win, which is not a lot, obviously, and not a lot of honor.
Some time.
Yeah, it was a bit crap. And then they fixed it, which is now fixed and it's now working, but they didn't retroactively give it to me. So I'm now at like 2% on the mount. I'm still 1600. It's annoying. It kind of took the wind out of my sails on that one, to be honest. But it is fun. I'm not gonna lie. It's, as someone who doesn't do a lot of PvP, it's super fun just to kind of jump in and have a go with it. Have you had a crack at it?
I've not, no. Most of my time's been getting my alt army kind of ready for Dragonflight launch. Still up in the air about what I'm going to main in Dragonflight as well. So kind of just having a feel and an experience, see what's going on. Really liking Sub Rogue at the minute though.
I think
that's where we're at. I think that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
I think leveling with the talents is sick though. I've obviously done it on beta, and you've leveled about 1 million characters. But we have like a massive buff until the 15th, isn't it? It's like 50%, the Winds of Wisdom thing. And then the drag coming in.
We've got the Winds of Wisdom at the minute. You got 10% from War Mode if you're on Horde. Obviously, you get about 4,000% if you're on Alliance, because no one's leveling on Alliance right now. Although they should be, because as we know, Alliance is best.
It's true.
So we've got the talents that are coming through as well. So we've got 50% from Winds of Wisdom, 10% from Hallow's End, which ends today. And then you've got 10% from War Mode, so it's about 70%. But as we found out as well, we've got the anniversary event coming up, so that will stack even higher.
Yeah.
So should get to about 78%, which would be quite useful.
That's going to be a lot faster than the 15th as well, like when everything... Because on the 15th, the leveling changes on Phase 2. You get Chromie Time up to level 60, you get Shadowlands joining Chromie Time, you get Coltiris and Zandalar becoming level 60 by default as well, which brings in some changes like level 60 islands, and things like that, which are really fun. I don't know if Warfronts are going to level 60 though. I need to check that, but that'd be kind of interesting for the 4 people still doing them.
The flow with the talents as well it's just been kind of really good, because whereas before you'd have these dry spells like 10 levels and then here's a small power gain. Now actually it feels like you're progressing through the game. Each level you can make meaningful choices as you go along. It's a bit janky in some places, I'm not going to lie. I was leveling Monk last night, and I went to do the quests for the Monk where you get the rested XP at the end of it. And it was like, yeah, okay, go and kill this master. Yeah, so this master, you need to use your interrupt. But you're not high enough level to spec into it yet. So so there's a little bit of a quirk there.
Yeah.
But yeah, just for context and time, I was leveling the Monk last night. Level 10 started. I got to level 30 in just under 2 hours using Kraken Latte's shout out there. Guides are great for leveling and alt management.
Yeah. Just join Twitch.
Yeah. So I was just joined Twitch as well last night. Nice little shout out. Chat, you know what to do.
I think
Nice.
do the monks still get the buff as well? The level buff? Is that still a thing? I used to get it.
No, so they don't get the 50% experience buff. They get rested XP now. So when you do the quest, you get a chunk of rested XP that's on the end, which
I guess that's
it's not the same.
Yeah.
It'd be a bit daft if you got another 50% on top of the 50%. You'd be, yeah.
Yeah. I think other than that though, I mean it's just the UI. I mean with the UI it's cool. I know you're still using Elf UI, I believe.
Yeah, my UI is. I don't get me wrong. I really like the changes Blizzard have put in. It looks more modern, looks more clean. However, I'm a creature of habit, and I just like. I'm the opposite to you. You're the boomer. I've gone more zoomer. I like black, clean lines, and you're like. I just want this to look like someone's drawn it with a crayon. So,
It's true.
yeah. But Elf UI's I've gone back to it. I've tweaked a few things. I've actually purged a lot of my add-ons down. I was down to 84 add-ons. I think I was running on the standard setup, and now I'm down to like 40. I think.
That's right.
But a lot of it is just little quality, like dialogue key was a massive one for me to get that up and running. Stuff like that. But yeah, I think Blizzard have done a really good job. I think it's a good starting point. It's not going to be all in one go as we'd have expected. This UI's kind of been in place now for 18 years, so yeah, it's going to be an iterative process, I think.
Yeah.
And it will only get better in time.
It was a bit of a shit show on Twitter. People like freaking out about it being different, where it really wasn't that different. Like by default, you could
show on Twitter.
It's just
No.
I know it's so unlike Twitter.
No.
But yeah, I've been having fun with it. I think like there's some obviously missing functionality, like moving the XP bar and moving the micro and the bag bar and stuff like that. Add-ons have kind of taken that place now. There's also an add-on. God, I can't remember the name of it. But there's an add-on that basically adds the decimal point. So when you click an asset, it says this is at this location on the screen, and you can move it by pixel, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, you could do it on coordinates, couldn't you?
Yeah.
I can't remember it. That one off the top of my head.
Yeah.
See down below. We'll put it on afterwards.
Yeah, but there's like, yeah, I think like the add-on devs are kind of going a bit crazy with it, which is really good, and I think that's kind of probably what they wanted, to be honest. They probably wanted people to go a bit more nutty with it. I don't think there's an add-on yet to add the old UI back. I've not seen it anyway, but I believe, I mean, there's apparently some people that want that, which is fine, I guess. But I like the new map.
Yeah.
I like the map. It's nice and clean. I like the way the griffins look and stuff like that. I think it's pretty cool. It's a nice update for the game, kind of an evergreen change for the game.
Still circular though.
Still circular.
Some circular minimap.
Yeah, they need
a square minimap. That's all they asked for. A square minimap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Two things are inevitable in life. People hate change. Change happens. Right? So you're going to get this backlash no matter what they do.
Yeah.
Also, shout outs to CurseForge. Make sure you support your add-on devs.
Exactly. Yeah. You get some money from that, so which is cool. Kind of switching up. So that's kind of like pre-patch stuff. Again, kind of dry. Phase 1 this week. That's going to be going on until the 15th. Beta this week was a little bit. There was some changes. There was some stuff. They had Mythic Plus this week. I believe they added the Shadowmoon Burial Grounds. I haven't had a chance to jump in any Mythic Plus on beta because they do it on the weekends and I take weekends off. So yeah, but the people that do Mythic Plus are absolutely hammering it and reporting all those bugs, which is good. But we did get two pieces of news or two pieces of additions. One was Threads of Fate for Shadowlands is being removed. That was kind of speculated on when we were testing it last week. That it was going to be removed, and they announced yes, it is being removed. I believe it's being removed for 50 to 60 as well. But if your character's already begun it, you can finish it, which I think is great. So if you do like Threads of Fate, you could go do that. But at the end of the day, once that change comes in, you can go to any expansion from 50 to 60. And like for reference, I did 50 to 60 on the beta, and it took 3 hours. Like it was ridiculous. It's so quick. Like it's quicker than most of the other levels, so the cadence is just wild. I'll do a line graph at some point to figure it all out, but yeah, it's wild. Like 50 to 60 is going to be so quick on the 15th. So after all those buffs are gone, Winds of Wisdom and stuff, it's going to be speedy.
I mean, that's still around this. Still, sorry, I think it's shorter than actually my testing so far with Winds of Wisdom. It's been around 4 hours, 50 to 60. That's it. Well, 48 including the more intro. Yes, I do the more intro. Don't at me.
But you also, I mean, just having the choice of not having to do Shadowlands, which is nice. I think that a lot of people like that. I actually don't hate Shadowlands leveling. I don't think it's the worst, but I haven't done it for a while. I could imagine after like the fourth or fifth time, you kind of want to just give up and not do it anymore, which is fine. I understand that. But having more choices is going to be great, and being able to level in like Legion or Pandaria or Warlords or whatever up to 60 is going to be great. And no doubt someone will find some shenanigans with that.
Yeah, I think the key thing as well. I think Shadowlands leveling, like you say, it's fine with Threads of Fate 'cause you can kind of switch it up and do bits. But when you're forced down a linear path,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if I'll be using it for the time being. Maybe in like 3 expansions time when we're saying, "Oh yeah, remember Shadowlands? It was the greatest expansion ever." Like we always do.
Yeah. Like Battle for Azeroth and all that. But yeah, no, I think the removal of Threads of Fate, I think it was inevitable. Really, I think that system is a product of its time, a product of that expansion, and that's going away, and that's fine. And I think for Blizzard, they would have to manage, regular Shadowlands leveling, Chromie time leveling, also Chromie time Threads of Fate, and regular Threads of Fate. So you have 4 different zones or phases that you have to manage, having all those different things. So I think just having the story mode is fine, I guess. If they really had the dev time, if they had the resources, they could make a hybrid, kind of like we have in Dragonflight, where you have world quests, but you also have the story, but you also have side quests, things like that. They could do that, but they're not doing that.
They did mention, didn't they, that for Dragonflight, it's only going to go away for Shadowlands. The Dragonflight system, I'm sure I read somewhere that is looking at being evergreen. So when we do come to the next expansion, you'll still be able to use the Dragonflight version of Threads.
I think they call it adventure mode, but the Dragonflight version is a perfect storm. It's kind of very similar to Legion, how they did it in Legion, where you could pick a zone and you could do the story, you could do side quests, do world quests, and bonus objectives and things like that, which I think is great. I think that's a perfect combination of all of it. And obviously, the first time through, you got to do the story, which is it's a good story in Dragonflight. Sorry, it's a really really fun experience to level from 50 to 60 that first time, and then you obviously get a bit more freedom the second time, which I think is fine, to be honest.
You were right, though. It was a really good story in Shadowlands. I really enjoyed that part where Arthur's got turned to 35 Anima. That was my favourite
So
part.
good.
And it was the jailer all along.
Yeah. Never forget. And work orders was the other thing that came in. It wasn't in the original build, but then they hotfixed it in. I've been having a little play with it. I will have a video probably tomorrow on that. Looks pretty darn good, though. There is one thing that concerned me that I saw on there, which I'll talk about in the video, but we'll talk about it here. There was a limit. There was a 30 work order limit. Now, I don't know if it's been stated anywhere. If that's daily or weekly or forever. How it doesn't say it on the tooltip.
30.
I would imagine it's weekly. Maybe.
I don't know. I think it would make sense to have some kind of cap in there. Unpopular opinion. But you don't really want a monopoly going on the server. It kind of spreads out evenly for people, gives them a chance to be able to do this. It can otherwise go the other way, and if you've got something really rare, and then it's like, okay, there's only a limited supply, it's going to push that value up. So I can see it working both ways, actually. I know people in the community are a bit like, oh, no, we don't want time gating, but sometimes I think we need it to give fair opportunity rather than people who do have the time and the resources available to them just to plow everything into there and become gazillionaires.
I think the real question is that 30 account bound? Because you could make 1 million alts and send them the resources.
Well, we wanted everything account bound, didn't we? So.
Well, yeah, that's very true. So I don't know. That's something we need to kind of look into and see what happens there, because it is very interesting. But I do like the system. I think one thing that's going to happen almost immediately with this system is people are going to want it retroactive. There's so much, it's not just gear and armor, it's manuscripts for mounts and materials and things like that. And I think that kind of stuff would be sick for, older expansion professions if you want to go back and, farm, the materials for a mount that's engineering, but you're not an engineer and someone can make it for you and pay them a little bit of commission or whatever. So I think that's going to be kind of the big thing that's going to come out straight away almost.
Yeah, especially with the way professions work now, because they're branched into individual expansions. You don't have to go through the old, all right, so I've just finished Cataclysm, let's go and get some Mithril back to level everything up. It feels like professions and the work order system has been built in such a way that it is scalable, which they, can go backwards, hopefully, and do it if they have the time, technology, and resource to do it. I think as a community, we just need to be patient, which I know we're not very good at.
No, We're
Want it
terrible.
now. Want it now.
Yeah, I think overall though it's good, and it's a work in progress definitely, and it's something that we'll definitely get more information on soon. But first impressions seem good. Maybe I'll eat my words in 6 months' time, but we'll see. But that's basically
Flip
it
it.
for the beta. I've been testing Shadowlands Chromie time. It's been all right. So far so good. I think I'm level 30, just hit 30 in Maldraxxus. So I think I'm probably going to get enough to get to 60, maybe. I'm about halfway through, so we'll see that. That'll be on the stream, obviously. Tempted to upload like the entire leveling journey on the other channel, maybe. Could be quite fun if someone wants to watch that, like see it, or just put it in like 5 times speed with some jazzy music behind it or something.
Shadowlands leveling. Who wouldn't want to go and watch that again?
Exactly, yeah. Especially my extremely skilled gameplay of doing so.
I think at this point you've got more hours on a hunter than Roger Brown has. If I'm
It's true.
honest.
Got like 10 hunters on the beta. They're just going to be deleted at the end. It's over.
And you say that I level too many characters.
I know. At least you get to keep
At least yours is for a good cause.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's all good fun. But yeah, that's basically it for beta. The other thing that, as mentioned at the beginning, was Legacies came out this week. It started this week, or last week even. I don't know how often it's going to be. I presume every 2 weeks. Maybe with the big releases, maybe one on the 15th. I think there's 3 in total, I want to say.
Yeah, there's 3. I mean, see, I'm thinking of going the other way. I think they'll probably release one each week up until Drakthir become available to build that hype. Then Drakthir become available on the 15th. Kind of more changes come in.
Yeah, you have a point, actually, because... Actually, yes, yeah, I like that, because they're in-game. And there's an NPC you can watch them in-game, and that NPC becomes available on the 15th.
And then that kind of opens up where everyone starts in the
Yeah, I like that.
Drakthir experience.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I think that's how I'd play it. But we've been.
I guess by the time this video comes out, they'll probably be the second one because it's Tuesday today. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Find out. But it was really good though. I
thought it was sick.
Classic. Yeah, classic Blizzard doing what Blizzard does best, which is storytelling in video form, which has always been a really strong point. I don't think I've ever seen a disappointing legacy in the old iterations of it. I think it's been really good.
No, true. I think it's good that you can watch them in game as well. Like, you don't have to consume this content outside. You can actually go up to an NPC and be like, play this video, which I think is good. And I don't know if they'll actually like implement it into the game, where they did do that in, I believe, in Shadowlands, and I'm sure in other expansions as well. I think in Legion as well, with the Demon Hunters. I think like Garona, is it Garona? In Maldraxxus, you're like, oh, tell me your story, and then the whole thing plays, which I think is cool. So yeah, that's
something big monsters. Roar.
Yeah,
that was the story.
But I think it'd be good. I do like it a lot. But yeah,
is that a well-known thing though? Because I don't actually know if a lot of the community realise you can watch this stuff in game. I think it's one of them hidden little gems.
Sometimes, as I said, like sometimes it's in the questing, sometimes it is kind of hidden away. And you have to look on Wowhead or something, and it'll be like, oh, you can watch these here. But obviously, most people, if you're on World of Warcraft anyway, you're on a PC, so you're going to watch it on YouTube. Or watch someone react to it, which seems to be the meta these days. But yeah,
everyone has to go. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh wow! Look at the dragons! Wow, so cool. Unless you're British and you're just like, oh, this is cool.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of British people, Preach went to Hollywood. Preach goes to Hollywood this week, or went to Hollywood last week for what looked like a lot of interviews, looked like a lot of fun revelations that are coming out very soon. He did a stream, I believe, yesterday where he went through all of his a lot of his footage and spoke about what is going on there, which is really fun. I like Mike a lot. He's a good friend, and I'm really happy for him, and I think it's good. Obviously, no doubt, as mentioned earlier, the community kind of shit itself on that one. They did not like the fact that
they were really
there.
warm, welcoming. They thought, this is great for everyone. We're going to get some more information. We're going to get to welcome Preach back into the WoW community from his hiatus. Didn't quit. He was just on hiatus. He had a bit of time away, and everyone was like, "Oh, welcome back!" Water got balloons out. They were really. Oh no, they didn't, did they?
No, it was a shit show.
Pitchforks,
obviously.
Pitchforks.
Yeah, I think Wowhead did an article about it, and the comments on there, like, do yourself a favor, just go read the comments. They are stupendous on another level. But my general thoughts on it, I think it's good. I think it's cool. Like, Preach organized that. He said it took about 3 months of back and forth, and he flew out there on his own accord. He wasn't invited. He didn't get paid for or anything like that. And he kind of had free reign to look around the campus and speak to people and things. And I think Preach he's a smart dude. He's been playing WoW for a long time. He was and is a pillar of the community, and I think he's going to do a really good job with whatever he posts in the next couple weeks or so. Obviously, no doubt, he now knows probably more than he should. But I think that's fine. I mean, he'll be under NDA. He's not going to leak it. He's a good boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's cool. I don't know. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion. Is it unpopular to say that it's a really cool thing for the game?
No, I totally agree, and I know people will be up in arms like, "Arr." But the fact he organised it himself, he reached out to Blizzard. I think it's great for him, but actually, flipping it around from the other side, it's good for Blizzard as well. That they were arms open, said, "Yeah, come back." It'd be very easy for them to have said, "No, we can't do it because we can't facilitate it. We don't want anything to get out there. Everything's kind of under tight control," which is how it's always kind of been. And this is no shade on anyone, but since the new community of team have come in, it seems like there's been a lot more transparency with content creators. They've done an amazing job going forward with a lot of this. More people are getting involved. You're starting to see, new faces on the launcher. You're starting to see more kind of interviews going out to a wider spectrum. But the fact that they allowed Preach to kind of come in and just off his own back, he monetized it. There was no commercial agreement. There was no sponsorship there with them, and just say, "Look, here you go." Yeah, there's going to be things we don't know, but all the information coming out of it so far, it's like they're not really pulling any punches with it. They're giving straight answers, which is really good.
Absolutely. I think it's cool. Like, it's just a really awesome thing for everybody, really. It looks like a plus, and I think those videos are going to do really well. And no doubt, they're working on them now, and I hope they come out soon. I hope they're not like months in advance. I'm curious if he did sit down with Mike Ybarra. I know that was kind of teased. I didn't watch his whole stream yesterday, so I don't know if he mentioned it specifically, but I hope he did, because Mike Ybarra seems like a cool guy, and he doesn't seem like someone that does a lot of interviews, but I think Preach would really kind of get into it. One thing I mentioned yesterday on the stream was kind of like, what's he going to talk about? What's Preach going to talk about? And I think the general consensus is a lot of like evergreen stuff, right? He said that the word evergreen come up a lot in regards to like, and philosophy as well. I think a lot of it's going to be philosophy. That's what Preach likes to talk about. He's done that in the past with his interviews. It's not like me or other people where just like, is this happening? Yes or no? Is this happening? It's not like that. It's more like, why is this happening? What are you doing this for? Like, what's the kind of projection for the next 5 years and things like that, which I think is what makes Preach so good at what he does. And some people don't like that. Some people do like the interviews where it's just like, are we going to get any new race class combos? They're like, yes. Like, yay. But I do like the way the Preach approaches things, and that's what I think makes it kind of exciting for me, and I guess the general fan base. But
we need a mixed bag, right? We can't just have and this isn't disparaging at all to anyone. We need a wider range of interviews. We don't need to just see what's happening at the top 1%. We don't need to look down the 3 pillars. There is space for this kind of wide, overarching, more journalistic style, I would say, from a Preach point of view, rather than every interview being, "Why no take handle?"
Yeah, I think that's good. And I mean, we've seen it even recently, a lot of mixed bag, like a lot of mixed interviews. So there's like me, and then they'll do one with Max, and Max will go into the kind of 1% kind of stuff and the deeper diving, where I'll be like, "Oh, are we getting this transmog?" Like something like that, which is, I think it's, there's different. WoW is such a broad game where I think you do need stuff like that, and I think it's good that they don't just go with the same person every time. And I think, it's as you said, I think the community team recently have been very good with creators. I've had some insane opportunities that are just like wild recently, and they've just been really, really great, honestly. Like for EU, NA, and everybody, and even including like with the beta giveaways, you saw like creators who were super small, and I don't say that in a disparaging way, but like they had a massive boost with these beta keys, and I think they got pretty much almost every streamer involved in the beta keys, big or small, and I think that was super good. And they promoted them on the WoW website. People went into their streams, and hopefully, from that, they impressed people enough to build their own community and build their community up and up and up. And I know from my experience, when we did the Bay of Keys, it was like, 1,500 viewers or something like that. But since that time, it's been going up, and it's been, it's
Is Luna doing the vacuuming?
someone's doing something. I live on a construction site.
Yeah, I'd take that impact drill away from Luna. She'll do some real damage. It's not going to go well. But you're absolutely right. And I think I've only dabbled in streaming, a long while back and part time, but I don't feel that there's that wall there anymore with Blizzard. I think they feel a lot more approachable for things like this, and you can generally say to them, look, this is what's what. And talking about them reaching out to the community, I see you got a summoning letter. You got a
yeah, I actually got it right here with the drill
summoned.
outside. Yeah, it's really hard to read. Like it's really
Is
the
that
font
'cause-
is difficult to read.
Is it hard to read just because English is your first language?
That
And
is
you
it.
find
Yeah, that's
difficult
exactly it.
Normally.
But the TLDR, I mean, I'm not at liberty to say too much, obviously, but there is an event happening on November 29th with some UK-based content creators in the UK. And that's about as far as I can say. There's some things happening, some stuff happening. Taliesin's there, Sko's there. There's some others there that have not been announced yet, so I'm not going to take the wind out of their sails and say, oh, this person's there, because they haven't said anything. So give it time, keep it on Twitter. Really cool letter, though. Had it was sealed with, I don't want to show my address, with like a bit of wax, which was really cool. And then we...
Taskmaster.
Yeah, that was actually one of the replies. But yeah, it's going to be cool. Something to look forward to for sure. Just after Dragonflight release. It's going to be interesting.
Really personally hoping, from the way that letter's worded, there's going to be some sort of booking Bronco competition that's like designed as a dragon that you got to sit on. Because I've seen your coordination, and that would be for comedy gold.
That's the dragon riding.
Yeah.
That'd be wild. That would actually be crazy. But yeah, no,
Stop giving Blizzard ideas.
Yeah, funny hell. Yeah, we had a meeting about it Friday, and it's going to be fun. The stuff for it, like, there's going to be a build-up, so it's not just, like, one big thing. There's going to be stuff over the next couple of weeks, starting, I think, next week. The first one is, and, more details soon, TM. Again, I get super scared about leaking stuff and saying stuff too publicly, whereas, like, other people, like, will be like, yeah, this is what's happening. I'm just like, no, I'm just going to, even though we haven't signed an NDA legally, I just don't want to say
NDA Gate.
Yeah,
Part 2.
all the NDAs about the castle. But there's also an event happening in Denmark, I think. I saw Annie Fuchsia tweeted something about that. So maybe they're doing a similar sort of activation over in Scandinavia. So I have to see. Very, very interesting, though. Very fun. And yeah, I think also, I guess here's a peek behind the curtain. We obviously have to send our tweets to get verified and say, like, oh, this is fine. Damn, man. I thought mine was all right, but Taliesin's was just phenomenal. Like, he was like, he had the letter there, and he was like all dressed up, and the lighting was perfect. I just took it like here, like I just took a picture of this thing and said, yeah, that's happening.
Just for your hands.
Yeah, he absolutely smashed it. But yeah, another thing, I guess, because we were meant to record this Friday, but it's kind of good doing it today because we have an extra bit of news. We have kind of a bit more clarity and a bit more information on Twitch drops for WoW happening. I believe there's 3 Twitch specific drops, and then there's one that's gifted subs, which I think is, some people have had thoughts on that. I tweeted last night some concerns about the wording. One of them did say select World of Warcraft streamers, and it looks like it is during Season 1, so maybe that's potentially just Season 1 content creators who do, like, Mythic Plus, rating, and whatnot. I don't know. I guess we'll find out more details on that. But I think the rest of them are for everyone from the sounds of things, which I think is really good, and that goes for everyone in the WoW section, big or small, as long as your Battle.net is connected to your Twitch, which I think people should do right now if you haven't already, obviously. So I think
there is a lockout, isn't there, of 7 days.
7
you need to make sure everything's connected now. So this is your time. I'm going to pause for 2 seconds. There you go. You should have done it by now. That was your pause time. So.
Perfect. Yeah, amazing.
Catering. It's like I've done this before. But yeah, I think it goes back to what I was saying before about the getting the community more involved. The fact that the wording so far, and we may tell words on this, but if most of them, including the subs one, are open to every content creator who signs up and is eligible for it from affiliate upwards, that is a massive swing from how it used to be, and it's more inclusive as well. So yeah, everything's always going to be the same, right? The big are going to get bigger, but actually, if you can spread that out, as we saw with the beta keys, them extra 10, 15 subs to a smaller, as in part of the audience, not a small creator as such, can make a huge difference to them. So, I would always recommend, just trying to spread that love. Spread that love.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with the gifted sub one, I think would be really cool to have for smaller creators and things like that. Because it's kind of a lot of people don't like donating or subbing to massive creators who are millionaires and stuff like that, and that's completely understandable. But if it's the only way to get something, then obviously they will do that, which is a shame. But
and you've got to also think though, for people who are content creators a full-time career, this is a job. You are entitled to earn money, believe it or not.
Crazy.
No.
That's some crazy talk right there.
Sorry. I should go. 1 minute. I'm just going to go into chat and just. I'm sitting through 12 ads right now. That's what we should all do, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's the rules. I think kind of the big thing and the big drama of it is the fact that it's TCG items. And people are like, oh, collectors are upset about that. But the Feldrake is a $3,000 mount. Like, who even has that? I think the TCG in general is loot boxes. It's predatory. It was something that should probably never come back. They could have recolored it. They could have just made it another mount or something like that. There's tons and tons of unused colors and things like that in the WoW files of mounts. But it is, it's nice for people to get something nice, I suppose. But yeah, TCG people are pretty angry about it, no doubt. There was one guy that was like, oh, I may as well sell my account now. But how often will this be?
Shouldn't do that. It's terms of service.
It's true.
Get banned.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah, how do you feel about the fact that it's TCG stuff?
I can see where people are coming from. That they've put money into getting this, and now they feel it's being taken away. But these items have been in game for a long time. The TCG stuff isn't something new. It's been there for Burning Crusade, I believe, was the original ones that came in. And yeah, they could have. I think honestly, a slightly different color and then retiring the TCG stuff so we could have opened stuff up would have probably been the best compromise for myself. But the 6 people who've actually got them out, I can see why they're a bit upset. But on the flip side of it, nothing lasts forever, right? We open it up to the community and being able to, especially in such a way that supports the community and the content creators around it, I think is a really good way of doing it.
Yeah.
Would I see the Spectral Tiger on there? Can you imagine?
No, I don't want it on there.
Can you imagine the amount of people who would lose? I think Twitter would melt right now. That it isn't already.
What do you think would be more of a shit show? And this is a question for the comments as well. Do you think adding the TCG stuff through Twitch drops or adding it to the in-game store? What do you think?
More of a shit show.
What would be? What would people be more angry about?
They'd be more angry about the shop. I'd be more angry about the shop. And I don't know if this is just because of I consume stuff through Twitch, and I have streams on in the background. At least with that, I'm in the knowledge that even if I'm not subbing to a channel, I'm at least providing some revenue back to the content creator, and I'm enjoying their content. I'm taking the content in and giving it back to the shop. That money is going directly to Blizzard, which is not necessarily a bad thing. There's pros and cons around it all the time. There is effort and work gone into that. But yeah, as long as these promotions are open to all and they're not just select streamers, for the most part, that there is more likely to be some niche stuff coming. Like you say, I think if one slightly worded differently with season 1, then it makes sense to kind of narrow that down. But as long as it's not just the top 5 and someone, a different game did something similar and the community reaction to that was not good. So I think this is the play by Blizzard to open it up to as many people as possible.
Yeah, it could even be like just Race to World first streams or something, if it's season 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guess we'll see. So
Everyone's going to be on a Christmas holiday, aren't they? So while we're fighting Halondrus for Mark II on Boxing Day, and everyone's sitting around eating their turkey sandwiches. Yeah.
whatever, if I end up doing an event, I want it to be in the Maldives. Just do it there, you know.
I heard if you go to the Maldives or when you go to interview Blizzard, you have to take your mods though. So,
Yeah, that apparently is the rules. Yeah, I heard that. I did hear that. So this is obviously the first episode of this. So normally we'd have like a big question, like as in like from the chat or well even the comments. Sorry, but we don't have one. So this is kind of your carrion call to leave a comment below of a big question of the week, which we'll cover next week or however often we do this. We'll obviously just talk about the kind of big kind of question that you've got for us, and we'll kind of discuss it. Yeah, a little topic for us to natter on about if you're interested in that kind of thing.
And also, any general questions, postmaster, mailbag stuff, anything that's not what's the best route, make it a bit more spicy. I like a bit like a bit of spice.
Like how many wrestling shirts do you have, Dan? Oh, I have a few.
And they're all too sweet.
It's true, they are. So the final thing, which is kind of the title of this video, the big topic of the video is Dragonflight ready? It is now November 1st, 2022. This game comes out this month. This game comes out this month. We are getting a lot of the system changes on November 15th, which is when 10.0.2 comes out, which is the kind of patch they use for beta. So that build has to be ready in the next 15 days. I play a lot of beta, as you'd imagine. Only on stream, though. I'm not that sad that I would play it just off stream for hours and hours. And okay, maybe. But I have concerns about the stability of the build. I was dragon riding yesterday and I crashed a lot, which is weird because you get, especially the last couple of weeks, the builds have been so hit and miss. Like there's been a build that absolutely tore apart the UI. It tore apart the Profession UI. It tore apart the Vigor UI, and it just was so buggy and weird. We had a lot of regression in that build. That got fixed. Now we have some more WoW errors. Now we have some various issues. I got a tweet yesterday of someone soaring as a Drakthir, but flying normally in Bastion due to a bugged quest. So I have concerns in regards to that. A lot of this stuff is smaller to fix. I'm not a game dev. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I know for a fact that the big stuff, the questing, the voice acting, the cutscenes, that kind of stuff is in, and it's working to a point. So I think, and the art assets as well, that's obviously a massive part of it. And all of that seems like it's done. We don't have a lot of placeholder textures. We don't have anything like that. The areas are beautiful and done. And obviously, I'm going to be doing some more 60 to 70 level testing soon. TM to see how that's looking in the next build, probably this week. Just to see how it's polishing up. But I would say leveling as a whole is looking good. I think endgame is looking okay. We got a first look this week at the chapters. We have 9 endgame chapters for Dragonflight. I did actually make a notepad, I'll tweet it out, of where these chapters come from. Some of them from Renown, which is essentially rep. Some of them are from just leveling up. You get one like right at the end of the campaign, which I think is one chapter. Another one is just kind of going around Valdrak, and some of them are easier than others. The actual stories themselves, the ones through Renown, are not being tested. At least it seems like it. I hope they don't, because I don't want to be spoiled in that. But they are attached to some of the Renown things. So you have like, I think 2 for the Valdrakken, you have 1 for the Tuskar. You don't have any for the Centaurs at the moment, but there's 9 in total, which I think is cool. It's good endgame stuff there. I don't know. How do you feel about it not being tested, Cham?
I think for me, we need to take a step back. Right? Is Dragonflight ready? What do we need to be ready? What needs to be ready for launch? So a lot of people are going to obviously be like, oh well, we haven't properly balanced everything out. Well, first few weeks we don't really need to worry too much about balance. That will come as an iterative design. We just seen today's sweeping enhancement, Shaman nerfs of 25%. Good luck, Shaman. And this is also one of the reasons why I've been so adamant in saying whenever I've seen it, look, don't go on numbers just yet. Numbers aren't final. They are going to fluctuate. Have a feel for the class and how it plays. I know that's not always the case, but don't chase meta this early on in an expansion. Especially before it's not even launched. Yeah. Sorry, Mr. Meta BM Hunter. Oh, wait. Marksman. But is it ready? I think we've got to expect it to be. I don't. We can have concerns, obviously. I think there is some things that are a little bit more concerning than others. In regards of, like I say, you not being able to ride a dragon and crashing it all the time is not great. But yeah, the stability. We don't know Blizzard's design process and philosophy. Are they splitting and branching things out and then going to merge them back together at the end? Are they fixing what one area in a build, and there's another area that's already been fixed but just hasn't been pushed across to that build? We don't really know a lot of that stuff. And I seem to remember there was performance issues in BFA and Shadowlands betas as well, where Erebus would just absolutely shit the bed. But then on release, it was fairly smooth. So is it ready? I mean, I wouldn't ship it today, but I think there's enough time in the bag and enough glimpses at how quick they've turned some of the stuff around to say that it will be there or thereabouts. Am I expecting 100%? No, but if it was 100%, I'd just say that the bug hasn't been found.
Yeah, I think it's a fair comment. I think it's going to be interesting. I think the next couple of weeks are definitely going to show in regards to the builds how they're going to be looking. But yeah, I always feel like the retail builds, even from PTR to retail when we went from the pre-patch, even that retail build felt a lot better in general. But I do think, I mean, even now there's an issue. I don't know if they hotfixed it, but there was an issue with stuttering in the game, which there was a fix for a macro, but I don't know if that's been hotfixed now. But they have the ability to hotfix loads of stuff. I mean, they were testing the hotfix tech in Dragonflight on the beta to say, like, we can literally hotfix an entire talent tree, which is awesome. So having that ability and having the way to do that is awesome, especially for potentially game-breaking bugs, potentially crashes, things like that. So I think that as long as you get that core experience on launch, and they're, no doubt they're going to be working their asses off, which is unfortunate, obviously. But I do think they seem very far along with a lot of things. I mean, the work order system came in this week. It was basically nothing for months, and then it comes in and it's basically done. So as you said, that is probably what's happening. Someone is working on a separate client, and they're like, right, it's time to merge this into there so people can have a look at that. And that's what it seems like for a lot of the things. But a lot of the major systems, I say that loosely because there's not really major systems in the expansion. It's a lot of evergreen things, which are pretty much already in the normal game, UI and professional windows and things like that. Seem to be done. So I think because there's no overarching system, there's no covenant, there's no artifact system, I think it gives them a lot more space to do fun things. I mean, this expansion, I would love to see some stats on it. I think this expansion might have the most side quests of any expansion I've ever seen. It is insane, the amount of side quests you have, and they're really cool as well. They're fully, voice acted, and they have little cutscenes and things, which are just great. And yeah, each zone has 4 chapters, like main story chapters, which I think is actually might be the least of any expansion for a very long time. But they are long chapters for the most part. But I do think the real meat and potatoes and the real fun of the expansion is through the side quests. And as said, that stuff's done pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, your campaign, your main story quest is the thing that kind of gets you through the zone. That's the driving, but actually the context, the flavor, the nuance of the zone, the atmosphere comes from your side quests because they bring it kind of to life. But also, you petition a good point. There's no borrowed power. There's no, apart from tier sets, there's no like large overarching systems that we've always had, and we've had to build things around them in previous expansions. Without that, that maybe has loosened the development up a little bit to be able to explore in different ways and pull those resources around. So I know some people are really concerned. I've seen lots of people on Twitter saying that, oh no, we need to postpone it for a month. And again, there's no right or wrong answer for this, but I feel that we're going to be okay. The only problem I can see is the boat crashing at midnight.
Yeah. I mean, it happened in Wrath.
Yeah.
They had to put an NPC in the end, so hopefully not though. But yeah, it's fun. I'm really looking forward to seeing the encrypted stuff. There's a lot of cutscenes, and obviously the music is encrypted right now. They added that last build, but that's now encrypted. Hopefully it stays encrypted. I don't want to hear the music until the thing. The login screen, that's fine. They actually released a 12-minute version of the login screen music as well, which is great. So check that out on the Warcraft channel. But I think, to be honest, Cham, we've pretty much covered everything we want to cover. Yeah. We've spoken about, everything that's happening this week, and yeah, that's basically it. So let us know down below what you think of this format. Yeah. We could do it weekly, bi-weekly, whatever. We'll figure something out. If you like this, leave a like, obviously, to let me know any feedback in the comments. We're new to this. This is something we could do. Maybe we'll post it on some podcast websites, because it's not really a visual experience as such. It's more of it's a bit of an ear biscuit.
Today, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I've been singing and dancing the whole time, and if you listen to it in audio, but yeah,
like
something
that,
new.
Cabaret routine that Jericho and MJF did. That's deep.
It's the best. Yeah, maybe we'll make wrestling reference. If you're a wrestling fan, hey, maybe we'll do a wrestling podcast. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. As said, please do follow me on Twitter and Twitch and all those places. We have Discords, we have things. Leave a comment down below what you think on this. Do you want people to follow you, Cham? Do you want to?
Sure, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll leave Cham's Twitter down below if you want to check him out as well. And yeah, any feedback's welcome. Be nice. And this isn't replacing anything on the channel either. We've still got loads of other content coming. But this is just something extra, just to cover some WoW news. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.